Good evening. That looks like there's audio there. Got live stream. Yep, everything's up and running. So good evening to the live Q&A. This is to answer any questions or problems that you're having. A form of teaching, really, if you need any kind of help. So that's what these Q&As are about. It's about anything. You can ask anything, even if you think the question's stupid. Ask it anyway. I'm sure someone else is thinking about that question in the chat. I'll go down the list, and once your questions stop and I feel like I've become a spare bit, we'll just end the stream. So all good. I'm sounding a little bit bunged up. I've still got a little bit of a cold going on. Is the audio okay? It looks like clipping. Let me slightly adjust. Is that better? Well, it looks like it's still clipping, so I'll wait for someone to say that the audio's all right. Just have to lower my tone. It should be all right. It should be good. So we'll start. We'll get in through. I've got nothing to. Yeah, you can see along the bottom there, the website, the Facebook. There's the Facebook. There's the website. If you want any kind of information on what it is that we're doing, the residentials are sold out now, as far as I know. But you will. There is 2 spaces on evidential mediumship, which you'll find there on that link, and then all the Zoom stuff, mentoring, themes, mechanical classes, to kind of help you through, help you understand your mediumship a little bit better. So just contact the page where, I'm sure most of you in this live stream knows Carol or of Carol, where she'll help you out. So everything looks like it's holding up. Everything's looking good. So we'll just crack on. We'll get on with it. And I've just got to find the beginning. Zena. Hi, Charlie. I've just started to stand up and give readings, so early days. I was wondering how to get clearer messages. It's not going to be that simple if you're just starting to stand up. So what will happen over the course of time when you're developing your mediumship and going to a demonstrating level, if you look at we'll be referring to this quite a lot. If we look at your energy as a cup of fuel, that cup of fuel is limited, because you're limited. You're a human, and over the course of the evening, you'll be wasting fuel on double burning, double checking information, double checking, convincing yourself that that's what you need to say, and the whole time you'll just be burning through that fuel, and that will then start to affect how long you can go for, whether it be 30 minutes, whether it be an hour, whether it be 90 minutes, and until you stabilize the mind, and stop the double burning and going back and forth, like double checking everything, then mediumship in that mindset then becomes more subtle. So the awareness, or the imagery, the sensory experience that you're going through, will become more and more subtle as time goes on, because you're leaning into the knowing, leaning into the faith, and not burning fuel needlessly from the cup. And so they don't, in fact, become clearer in that sense. So the relationship you're building is not one of double check everything, not trust anything, have to go over everything, see everything very, very clearly. It'll actually get more and more subtle as time goes on. So it's not about getting clearer messages. It's about trying to understand what it is that you're getting, because it's not for you. You're to give it away. You lack context of the client and lack context of the communicator, that the more and more you try and work it out and understand it, the more clunky it's going to be, and your hit rate will go down, because you're viewing the information that you're receiving from a communicator and putting it through the lens of your life and your story and your understanding, which may not make sense. So you have to give up trying to work it out. Zena again, how can I get names? How can you How can you get names? That's one question. How can you messages for your sitter? How can you get messages for your sitter? So names is they know their name. And what that is here is you are building an awareness, and you're trying to stretch your comfort zones. So things like names will be sat outside your comfort zone because you'll still be shocked that you got a name right. Whereas if you put that into actual context, you're working with a communicator. Evidentially, they know their name, believe it or not, and so you shouldn't be shocked by that. So that will sit just outside your comfort zone. And as time goes on, as the years tick on, the development kicks on, that comfort zone will be stretched. And then there'll be something new outside that comfort zone. So you'd have to work for that. And then again and again. And that just ends up going right across the page. So the way there are simple exercises that you can start to sort of implement into your own mindset when you're trying to get names is, hi, I'm Charlie. So I'm expecting someone to say, hi, I'm fill in the blank. If you are heavily reliant on visuals, you can use things like a driver's license in clairvoyance, a pen and paper so they can write their name down. Things that you are going to be comfortable with, that's not going to throw the mind into an element of dilution. If your mind is um, so I'm writing on the board there the hurts of the mind. So everyday tasks of what you're doing, then your meditation, your altered states, is anything below here, and then this is where communication takes place. Every time you think about something, you pull yourself out of gear to process or to analyze it, and that is where the problem will then begin in mediumship. So you are trying to work out the name, then you'll go to here and you're not able to receive the name because you're working it out, and that's where that's going to start to go wrong. So I need to get myself back to the communicator within this area here, and that would be the same place and the same answer for messages. So I've got this person, I've gave the evidence off, I've built up a relationship from the spirit world to the medium, and I'm offering evidence to the client. They are thinking of the individual, and now you've got this ebb and flow that just kind of flows around. And then I do my evidence part, and then I'm like, right, go to the message, and then I'll start receiving it in the same way that I received the evidence. And that's how you'd get messages for the sitter. I'm just getting over an absolutely terrible cold, so I'll try and, I don't even know how to mute off on here, so I'll be coughing and spluttering throughout. My apologies. Tina says hi. How can you get the golden nuggets of info, Zena? Golden nuggets, you won't know what a golden nugget is. I was doing a demonstration a couple of weeks ago, and the couple had sat outside the demonstration, and they were discussing how they would know it was their person if their person was coming through. Anyway, fast forward 5-6 links into a dem. I'm working with a lady. I end up going to this couple that had sat outside saying that if they said this, I know it to be them. And that word was blankets. So it sounds very much like Zena in your head. You're trying to work everything out and you're trying to go for the golden nugget and try and understand the story that you're talking about. But again, you lack context of this and this. So you will never work out what the golden nugget is. You have to listen and receive, and they'll give you the stuff that you need to pass on. What you can't do is judge it. Is that a 2 statement? Is that an 8 statement? A 10 statement? You can't do that. You have to let the information flow. It sounds like you're very much trying to control the situation, which is going to put you into thought and process. Therefore, the connection will be diluted. Good evening, Carol and Charlie from Norway, says Hanny. Hi, Hanny. Tina, I did my first home visit reading a couple of weeks ago, and I went in really positive and only got one name, Dorothy. It has knocked my confidence so much, never doing visits again. Again, it sounds like you're basing all your mediumship on names, which is why I try and stay well clear of names. We've got a medium in the chat, and they're saying it's not my confidence because I only got one. I tend not to do any now if I can get away with it, because it doesn't make the evidence any stronger. It doesn't make the person feel like they're in the room. So you're hinging everything on facts and figures and information rather than essence or evidence. So I wouldn't say don't do it again, but maybe have a rethink on where you're putting all the value in mediumship, because it's not only in a name. Catty B, Jennifer, I think, right? Looks like your cat. Hi, Jennifer. Judith, hello. My friend Schmieder, hiya. Looking forward to the live stream medium. Charlie is not reading that out. Cool, thanks, Schmieder. Spirit time. Hi from Nevada. Hi from London, says Grace. Bonsoir, says Olivia, which is good evening in French. See, I'm learning French. I'm off to France next week. Xander, with a laughing green face. Any advice on keeping the connection, improving ability to connect? I think the best thing that you can maybe kind of do for connectivity in mediumship is, for example, today I've been sorting out my trip, been loading the van, sorting bits and bobs out, and that is Charlie during the day. That's Charlie doing his stuff. He's got to cut the grass, he's got to do all that kind of stuff. And then when I come into the office and I'm about to go onto live YouTube, or I'm about to take Zoom, or I'm about to stand on a stage and do a dem, I cross that threshold, and now I'm medium Charlie. And so nothing that on that side of the line comes this side of the line. It's just about me and working. So whatever is going on in my head, through my sensory, through anything, whatever I become aware of, I know is not me, because I've crossed that threshold. I'm at work. I'm at my place of surrender my mind. And that will improve your connectivity if you can switch off from your day to day, and then step into the role of being a medium and surrendering and listening and go from there. That'll improve the connection. If you're looking for stronger sensations, much more vibrancy in the picture, you're doing that for you, not for the spirit world or for the client. You're doing it so you feel at ease. And mediumship is not about fulfilling the medium, it's about serving the spirit world for the client. So understand what your approach is, and then you can fix whatever it is that you need to do. Audio's good. Oh god, it jumps massively there. Hold on, I've just got to scroll back through and find where I was right there. Audio's good. Just skip past all that then. Nice to see you here again. I would like to do more. It's just I'm getting busy, Hanny. So I really don't mind the Q&A. The only downside to the Q&A is there's 3 monitors here. I've got my camera over here, that I'm monitoring that the cameras are at. I've got the YouTube studio, which is indicating how many people, the analytics, the stream health, and that's on this monitor here, but that's like 10 seconds behind. And then I've got the live one here where the camera is just above there. So all I see is myself and hear myself. So it's not great. But I really don't mind doing these. I really want to help people that can't get to classes. They don't have the funds, the finances, the time slot's not right for them. So I'm just trying to help where I can help, like whack up a diagram, give you a better understanding. I'll rip that one off. I'll start a fresh one. Education. It's so I would like to be here more. I'm just demming more and more, and I'm teaching more and more, and it's just where I can fit them in. So yeah, so it's nice to be here. God, what? Look at the length of your name. I don't even know what that is. D-Bid. We'll call you D-Bid. D. We'll call you D, because I'm not sure that's Such a big name. Hi, Charlie. I just started working with paying clients and self-doubt has kicked in big time. I have managed to read, but feel I am missing some details. Any advice would be great. You have to base it on what the client is saying to you. You can't feel like because you'll be doing the read and conducting yourself in the read for your own self gratification. I feel like I've done a great job there. Doesn't really matter if the client thinks it wasn't. So it's we kind of got to get the feedback from the client. Did you enjoy the read? Do you feel I missed anything or anything like that? And that will give you insight into maybe what you need to be looking at in development purposes to stretch yourself in that sense. But don't do it on the way that you're feeling. I've been doing this so many years now, and the readings that you think are good, the client thinks are kind of meh, and the ones that you think are bad, the client thinks are amazing. So you've really got to adjust with the feedback in certain areas to move on, and that's very much like what you find exciting. Maybe I don't. What I find exciting, maybe you don't. What you find offensive, I don't. And things like that. So we can't use our mind as an instrument for service for communication for the spirit world and then put all of our own parameters on it. That's not really the way to do mediumship. So I would pay attention to what the clients are saying, and then the depth will come with time. What I would strongly encourage anyone that's trying to get any kind of depth is that this is the comfort zone here. I would call it a layer. So where you get comfortable saying that thing on that subject and then adding more to it and then adding more to it. If this bit here is very uncomfortable and you're scared, that's the comfort zone. That's when you're stepping out of the comfort zone and take the plunge and do that. That's what you should be using your practice time for, to learn to go out of the comfort zone. And that statement will be the one that adds the depth that every medium is looking for. So give that a go. Debs, how soon after passing have you had someone through? Immediately, Debs. I understand it can be more or less instant. It is instant. Yep. Nina, hello. Much Benzos from Santiago, Spain. Nice. You're in Spain now, so your walk is over. Nina done the Camino. Those of you that don't know Nina, she's not a spring chicken. She shouldn't be running around doing Caminos. I can say that. So I'm glad that you're in a safe space anyway, where you can get on and add comments. So hope it's all going well. Send my love to Joseph as well. Debs, have you seen Spirit objectively, i.e., outside your headspace? I know what objectively means. Yes, I have seen it. Yeah, a number of times, not often though, not often enough to say it's all the time, but yeah, a number of times is yeah, I'm just not bothered by it, to be fair. Just not bothered. Let me mute off, I need a drink. And I don't want you hearing me gulping. I'm not very well, and Carol's bought me in an old school bottle of Lucasade. Do you remember her as a kid? They used to tell you to drink that and make you feel better. I think that's why Carol's bought me it. Try and make me feel better. So Mandy says, "What's up, Charlie and Carol? Thanks for putting this on today. No worries at all. It really is my pleasure. It really is." Um, where are we there? Ma'am J7R. How do you hear from your sister? From other mediums. I do a lot of teaching, so she tends to hound them, to be fair. What should I practice in order to receive a real message, not signs from a loved one in the spirit world? Do you mean your own loved ones in the spirit world, ma'am? I have about a year's experience in evidential and meditation. I would drop the meditation. You don't really need to put so much emphasis on that. I don't know why people put so much focus on that. I tend not to look for my own people in the spirit world because I'm kind of encouraging the brain to argue with itself. You know, is it me? Am I making that up? Did I do that? When I'm working for strangers and I'm working with their people that to me appear as strangers, it silences that argument for me. But in practice sessions, then my sister would come through a medium, and allow that communication to take place while they're getting some practice in. Um, so yeah, that's how that would happen for me. Tarot by Bill Chaplin. How do you hand sitters that want to connect with a deceased parent who was never in the sitter's life, so the sitter can't confirm the evidence? Well, that would be very difficult from an evidential point of view. So it would be entirely up to you how you conduct yourself in doing that read. I would prefer not to do it, but I know that that answer is not going to help any people. So you can do it. You can do it in a way that they can get stuff verified away from the read. I'm not a big fan of that. You can do it with what's happened since that individual has passed. What have they seen? What have they witnessed? But the argument would then be you're doing it psychically. So you've got kind of outside issues that are going to interfere with that. So by choice, I would refuse it. But if you were adamant you were going to do it, you could do it on what they've seen, or an element of it where it can be validated by other family members. Um, Katie says, I heard term ghost card as one message that two people can relate to. Do you ever acknowledge that at any point or completely stay away? Sometimes people say, I can take that too in groups. I mean, if they can take it in groups, I mean, it's fine that that they're thinking of their person in the spirit world because of something I gave to a different individual, but they are also validating. I've got no problem with that. I think that's okay. I don't have a term for it like ghost card or anything like that. I think it's still a beautiful idea that someone else gets to think of their mum while I'm working with a client and their mum. I think it's kind of beautiful in its sense, but I don't have a term for it. But I know where I am. The only time I'd really get involved in shutting it down is when they say, I don't think you were with her, I think you was with me, and then I would shut that down quite quickly. But I've never heard ghost cards, so that's a first. So oh yeah, Carol's put there, if you want to bump your questions to the top. I mean, don't feel pressured in any way to do it. But there is a super chat option. That's just if you want to support me. There's a super chat button, and it just throws your question to the top. It's the only thing I can think of doing while using super chat is to bump your question up the queue. So it's there. There's also a PayPal link there if any of you want to send anything to the PayPal for the channel, but nothing is required. This is the purpose of this, is to free information for you guys. Neil Peel Paranormal Peep Show, is that Neil from class, is it? Hi Neil, what do you think of pets making contact from the spirit world? Yeah, I love it. I don't mind it. I think it has been overused. I'm not entirely up to the rules and regs here in the UK, but I think as of now, under SNU regulation, you are not allowed to do it on an SNU platform. Now, I've been to many centres where 6 out of 7 links over a divine service have been animals. So I understand why the SNU have had to take an approach like that. Can they communicate? Yes. Can it be meaningful? Of course it can. People that lose their pets feel like they've lost a loved one, part of the family dynamic. They also want the communication. So I completely agree that it can take place, and I don't mind it taking place. I just don't think it should be on the platform. So I've had a super chat there. I don't know what that is. SEK, what's that? SEK from Xander. Xander, you haven't put a question there. You need to put a question there so I can answer your question. Thank you for the super chat anyway. Where did I get to, Neil? I've got to find it now. Not good, is it? Where? There. Shmida, so excited for the UK residential. You're coming to it, are you? Cool. I look forward to seeing you there. Oh, it's just to say thank you. Oh, that's Kirsty. Just say thank you. Thank you, Kirsty. Um, that's much better. They've sorted that out. I'm looking over here on this monitor, and on this one, it just shows you what it says. Can I like that? No, I can't. Not there. I can't. So thank you, Kirsty. Um, yeah, looking forward to meeting you, Shmida, in July. Is it? That's going to come around so quick. April Fool's Day tomorrow. Don't let anyone catch you out. Don't forget, people. Be on high alert. If you're anything to do with me, you need to be on high alert. Okay, where's we get to? So, Kat says, "Hello, Charlie. Question: how do you connect if you can't feel the outside energy? The outside energy is not what the mediumship is. The outside energy is your brain giving you the feeling of outside energy, so you know that you're doing mediumship. So it's not. That's not how to connect. The connection would be your heart move into that space. So you'll become aware of a man, a woman, a boy, or a girl when you're thinking about a spirit world. So across the threshold, and I'm going to work with the spirit world, and I'm going to slow down my mind. And now I'm aware of man, woman, boy, girl. And the person that you're working with or practicing with will be like, oh my God, Kat, I know exactly who you're talking about. And that is where it'll all begin. That's where the addiction will start. So Lisa says, while following all the guidance, how do we stay in the energy of the spirit and not in our heads? I can't manage it. Well, you can manage it. You don't like managing it. And that would be the discipline. So you've got options. You either stay there or you don't. If you don't, you know it's going to fail. If you stay there, it'll work out. So it's not that you can't manage it. It's you can't make the tough decisions of not allowing your brain to get involved. And that's just discipline, development in the discipline. Don't let it happen. And then from there, it just gets easier. So I had a chaotic mind many years ago doing this, and now it's just normal for me to just close the door to all the chaos. But that didn't happen overnight. That was a development in itself. Shmida says, will you please tell me about your mentorships on offer for next year? You're asking the wrong person, Shmida. How many's on offer next year? 4.
Weekday and weekend platform.
Yeah, weekday, weekend platform.
Weekend mediumship.
Weekday, weekend mediumship.
Over 12 months.
Yeah, so and they run for 12 months. So it'll be once a month for 12 months. So you get 12 full days over the course of the year.
Half day mentoring.
Oh, and you're offering half day. And there's one half day one next year, but just evidential mediumship. Before anyone kind of reaches out and asks about mentoring it's not for the weak. This is tough. This is looking at it in a very, very detailed way. And then you implementing the things that we have spoke about over the day. It's not something that you can jump onto for 1 month and then disappear. This is a closed group, so I'm not trying to scare anyone away. It's just that it is a 12-month commitment. You cannot just turn up for one and then decide it's not for you. That's what the theme classes and the mechanics are for. If you're signing up for mentoring, you are paying for the mentoring whether you are there or not, because it's a closed group. So just bear that in mind before you dive in, and you will see improvement. I can virtually guarantee you will see improvement, but it is a development. It is hard work. So I'm sure if you reach out or read some of the chat, there are a few people in here today that are on mentoring. You could maybe hook up with them, speak to them, and have an idea for that. Anyway, the information for that is on that link there on Facebook, Medium Charlie Kelly, and on this website, Medium Charlie Kelly here, .co.uk or .com, mediumcharliekelly.com. So you'll find all the information there. You can thrash it out with Carol as well. But just remember, she's thrashing it out with loads of people day in, day out. So yeah. So just bear that in mind. Oh, thank you, Katie, for your super chat. Thanks. Impressive. You recognise my cat. It's that big as well, but it's like it just looked like the one that I've saw before. So yeah. So thanks again for the super chat. Where'd I get up to? Shmida. Oh yeah, mentoring. Tina Marie says, no, I mean, I only got one thing. It was a name. I didn't get anything else at all. Oh, okay. Okay. So you just got a name. Well, that's probably fears kicked in, hasn't it? So you're here. You're Tina Marie. You go to the house sitting, you get here, and then you're trying to get to communicate, but you're here just in sheer panic, sheer frustration, sheer whatever is in dilution. So you've just got to bring yourself back, and this is something that you'll call it like an anchor point. You need something that the woman impressed upon you very quickly. So where's that lady Dorothy? There she is, and now I can start receiving information again. You're going to be drowned in fear again. You're going to move, you're going to panic, you're going to over process, and so where's that lady Dorothy again? And bang, and now I can start receiving the information again. So that's what that is. It's just a process. Your mind is diluting. Sunshine on a rainy day. The pictures are so small, I can't see who that is. But I started doing mediumship 18 months ago. I seem to get information too fast for me to keep up. Okay, so let's pause that there. Tell them to slow down. You're the instrument, so they are using it here. If it's too quick, you just instruct. It's too fast. Slow down, and it will slow down. It's intelligent. If you're not slowing it down, it's because you're fearing of slowing it down, or you're fearing you're going to lose your person, and so you keep up with the pace. It's not the case. Slow down. They'll slow down, and now I can give it. And also, they seem to be random pieces of information. Well, it will be random to you because it's their story, and this person has met this person, so these two know what it is, which will be random to you because you're the third wheel. They've got no interest in you. These two just want to have a conversation. So it will always it'll always be random, or should always be random to you. If at any point you feel like, oh, I know what they're talking about, I know where you're going with this, I totally get where you're going, then you're probably driving the narrative, which is not great for mediumship. You're going to get in the way a little bit there. So one, ask it to slow down, it'll slow down, and two, you kind of always want it to appear random. Yeah. Yellow chocolate. Do mediums always need permission from an individual before they receive information from the spirit world? I assume you mean the client. You should really have permission. Yes. I'm asking for situations outside of a session where it's already agreed on. So it's already agreed on within the session, but I'm in the supermarket. And I've got this man that wants to talk to the woman that's getting frozen peas. You 100% need their permission. Yes. Don't worry about names. You did get one, says Jasmine Johnson. Yeah, exactly. I wouldn't worry about them. Just me today and every day. Hello from the middle of Iowa. Hiya. Sunshine says, how do I make the random chunks of information flow together better? It's showmanship. It's all showmanship. So I will receive it in the way that you receive it. I've lost my pen. What did I do with that? It's a jet black pen, and I can't find it on my jet black desk. I can't believe that. Where's that gone? I will get back to your question in a moment, Sunshine, when I find my... Where is that gone? Oh, it's there. All down there. Got it. How do I make random chunks of information? So it's in the presentation. So this bit will be random, but I make it sound like I know what I'm talking about. So he draws my attention to that, and now he wants me to discuss, and now he's showing me. They're all random. They're random to me. They're random to all mediums. We don't know the people we're talking to. It's in showmanship. So as you grow more confident in your mediumship, the presentation will follow. Katie's done another super chat, so thank you, Katie. You spelt that funny. Yes, I've done both mentorship platform and one-to-one, and both amazingly helpful. So that was for Schmieder, wasn't it? So thank you, Katie, for your input and your super chat. Jasmine says, please don't jump. Jasmine says, I've been at this for quite a while and I have had off days. Just keep going. I think we've all had off days. All of us. The best of the best has all had off days. So you just got to chin up, get on with it, ain't it? So, Mia says, hi, you two. Feel better soon, Charlie? I think I'm coming to the end now. What have I had it? A week? So I think I'm coming to an end now. Matthew says, good evening, Carol and Charlie from California. Sending healing to clear for a clear head for the next 1.5 hours or so. Oh, you're banking on questions then, brother. So yeah, it'll be fine. It'll be fine. Ash Key. Hi, Charlie and Carol. Thanks for all you do. No worries. Kat says, do you feel for different energy when you become psychic, Charlie? I can't stand psychic work, Kat. They are worlds apart for me. So when I come here, it's just pure vibrancy. It's just full of energy. And when I go here, it's kind of like, I don't know, like flat and just nothingness and problems and expectations. They've got this. It's got a weird energy. So yeah, I just don't like psychic work whatsoever, and avoid it at all costs. So I don't even think about psychic work at all now. I'm solely just locked in on the mediumship. Oh, there's the button. I can like it there. Cool. I'm learning this system today, so it all got updated. I ain't been on for a while, and so it's all a little bit weird. So Sunshine message retracted. Were they swearing at me or? Oh, they done it. Oh, okay. So that was you. Xander, why is the time limit 10 minutes per person for a demonstration and 30 minutes for private sessions? Why are these specific time limits in place? I don't. So one-to-one, I don't think you need more than 30 minutes. So a lot of people, the argument's quite a funny one because they'll be like, I want to do more. And you could honestly sit there for 4 hours, and you're working with a mum, and you're bringing forward her son, and 4 hours won't be enough for that mum. She'll want more, so you're never ticking the box of enough. But with 24 minutes of very accurate evidence, and they know exactly who it is, I'm bringing their son forward for made up mum. 24 minutes of that will scratch an itch. And then the message that will go on top of it is more than adequate. It's perfect, in fact. I think 20 is too less. I think 45 is too much. I think 30 is adequate for that. Why is the time limit 10 minutes per person in demonstrations? It's if you're going to go for any kind of accreditation. So here in the UK, you've got accreditation under the SNU. I'm not sure Martin Coldclough does his anymore. I'm not sure. I just haven't looked. I don't know of any others other than Star. So like advanced diplomas that you've got there. It will be a minimum of 7, maximum of 10. So you've got a 3-minute window to play with on landing the end of the link. Now, anything over 10 minutes feels like it's borderline becoming a one-to-one. So if you've got 100 people in a room and 99 people feel like, God, this is going on a little bit, this feels more like a one-to-one. As a medium, you're going to feel that energetically in a demonstration. Anything less than 7 kind of feels like you've touched upon it and then let go of them too quickly, and they're kind of like, what just happened? So that 7 to 10 minutes is structurally for the energy of the demonstration to keep it ebbing and flowing. but also ticking the boxes of enough evidence and enough time to work with the individual so they know that their person's in the room. That over, you start it in 15, 20 minutes in a link, in a dem, and you've lost your audience. So yeah, but I'm also a medium that don't like, you've got an hour and a half, there's 45 people in the room, and all 45 people get a message because they're 3-minute links as you go through. It's just not right. It doesn't do the job properly. So that is why there is a time limit of minimum 7, maximum 10 in demonstrations, and 30 being adequate for a one-to-one. Canterbury aesthetics. From sitter's perspective, why will some loved ones not come through? That's the medium. It's not that the loved one won't come through, it's the medium. The person, when living, loved mediumship. In 9 years, no one has managed to connect with this person. Is it normal? It will be normal if they're a little bit different, a little bit, away from the baking nana or normal. So it'll sit outside of comfortable for a medium. So that is why your person, Canterbury Aesthetics, hasn't been through. I shared the same experience with my sister. It was 10 years before someone had brought her up in evidential mediumship, and it's simply because it was an 18-year-old girl or a 80-year-old grandmother that liked baking. The medium safety of mind will always go to the nana that liked baking. So is it normal? Unfortunately, it is normal. Why is it normal? Is because the mediums don't exercise the faith they speak about. So it's the medium's fault. No, it's not the loved one's fault in the spirit world. It's the medium's fault for not finding them. If you go to anyone that I have trained, anyone whatsoever that I have trained them, all of them, to do it to order. So the person that you want to come through will step through, and it'll be done evidentially. So it won't be a psychic reading like most people are going to argue. It will be done evidentially all the way through. So you could reach out to any one of the ones that I have trained, and they will do it. I would offer to do it myself. I'm just too busy with my own diary and my own waiting list. So, but any person that I have trained, they will be able to do that reading for you. That's you. Kirsty, hi Charlie and Carol. Thank you for your dedication and help. No problem, Kirsty. Then it jumped. Brilliant. Where was we? Kat, we do appreciate you, Charlie, and can't thank you enough for all you share with us, and especially your heart. Cool. That's not getting awkward, so let's just move on. Ray. How are you, Ray? He's asking Carol if I'm behaved myself. I hope everything's going well your end, bro. I haven't spoken to you in forever again now. So we just check in per decade, didn't we? So I hope you and your lovely family are all doing okay, bro. Thanks for popping in. I need another drink. Hold on, my throat's playing up again now. So 2 secs. God, there's so many buttons to press now. I suppose this would be a really good time to say the really dreaded thing in YouTube and lives. Subscribe if you aren't already. Hit the like button. Share it if you're brave enough. Don't forget to do all of those things because it helps me, helps my algorithms and all that kind of jazz. So like the video, it's free. That's all I'm saying. Like the video. That's it. Oh, and Matthew's done that. the one after the Mia's one. So Mia's question is, if a medium has a background or base as a healer, do you think it can help their sensitivity in their mediumship? Or is it two different sources of energy? I think the argument's going to be that it's two different sources. I think that's going to be the argument. However, I'm kind of one of the same with that. I think a healer with a background of healing before evidential mediumship certainly demonstrates in the vast majority of cases, a level of compassion or empathy that someone that doesn't have that as their background. I think, they definitely show more of that. So that element of development in compassion and empathy wouldn't be like a priority for the healer slash medium rather than the medium slash healer. But I've always seen my own work as healing through words. So yeah, yeah. I just don't. I don't think it's background. I think background can act as an excuse for people not doing this or doing that. But I mean, if you really wanted to be a medium and you really wanted to be a healer, whichever side of the fence you're on, I think it would always come down to how much you want it. And then the efforts are going to match that wanting, aren't they? And then no excuse is going to hold you back. So yeah, I'm kind of, it's all the same. Yeah, for me, I'm sure people would disagree, but that's cool. Then Medium Matthew says, "Hit the like button." After I just said it, so thank you, Matthew. Um, Bree says, "Hi, Charlie Carroll." Schmieda says, "Nina is a gangster." Linda Struble, I was working with you the other day, right? Thank you for the great class on Sunday. There you go. I hope you are done kicking dogs around. Yeah, and that sounds really bad. So I shared a story with Linda through a reading that she gave me from my mum. And I bought we had a little black dog. That was my mum's dog. And it was about the size of a shoe. And then the dog was barking while my mum was there, and she had little black Uggs that I had bought her for her birthday or something like that. And I booted the Ugg boot across the front room, and my mum thought I'd booted the dog across the room. So that's what she's done there in that story. John's here, Merlin. Nice to see you. I hope you're doing well, John. It feels like forever since I've seen you as well. Xander, Charlie, read this now. Read this now. I recommend that everyone take a class with Charlie and enjoy the journey towards becoming a good medium. So I'm down for you joining the class. I want that for everyone. I want you all to be good at working with the spirit world, because it's obviously a passion of mine. So if you're going to do it well, and I don't mind showing you how to do it well. Chris says, and that there was no chance I was going to try and read his name, but I recognised that beginning bit. So good evening, Chris, from Poland. That just jumped. Brilliant. Where did I get to Chris there? Natural Bow, is that? Greetings from the US. I hear teachers speak to the importance of understanding how your mediumship works before you can really understand the mechanics of mediumship. I am having a challenge figure. I don't know. I'm not sure what that means. I am the polar opposite to those teachers. So again, it's just very quickly point it out. Is like, I don't know this person. I don't know this person. There's no way I can understand this story to give it to this person when they both understand their story. So I receive it. I don't care what it is, and I give it. They say yes. Then I say, give me the next bit, and I give it, and they say yes. There is no need for me to understand that. So I don't get it. Oh, they're having to challenge figuring out how my mediumship works. Mechanically, you'll understand that if you're diluting, you're not with the communicator. So anywhere out of here, you're processing. So you need a mechanic, a mindset, a knowledge on how to get back here. That's it. So then I get back here. Then I get the next bit. Give it, they say yes. And then I dilute, I process it. And now I'm over here, I'm captured. And I've got to get back. So I get back. And then I get the next bit. And I give it. And they say yes. So that's it. That's all you've got to work out, not the story. Don't try and work the story out, because I promise you, it will go wrong. Hi Charlie, is your nose itching because the spirit is around? When I'm in working gear, it's something that I've had to work on for many years. I have to stop, but yes, it's because I'm working. I'm being inspired. Jasmine, and now you've just made me completely aware of it, so let me get it out my system. Um, Jasmine says you get animals quite often. Yeah, I think getting animals is absolutely fine. Again, it's just not for demonstrating, especially here in the UK now. So, but there is absolutely no problems with doing that whatsoever. Spirit time. When you are receiving independent words, not sentences from spirit, how do you expand the single words to convey to the sitter, getting more information? One singular word. If you think of your people in the spirit world now, so I'm your medium, and you're thinking of your person in the spirit world, and they give me something for you to have, and that's a singular word. With every single person that is now thinking of someone in the spirit world, that thing, whatever it is, let's say it's dancing, you will think of that individual and all the memories that are associated with dancing, and that is triggered and activated by the power of the word of dancing. So they want me to talk about dancing, and you think of your person, then you go into memory, and you have all these memories associated with dancing. Now they draw my mind to, and I offer that, and that will add to the memory of you dancing. You don't need to embellish what you're being given. You have to trust what you're being given, and the client will have their memory. They will have their journey. They will feel their person. So, but the getting more information is simply, and now what am I saying? And now what am I saying? So yeah, it's that simple. Canterbury aesthetics. I saw previously on one of your other videos about what frequency the medium is at to connect to spirit, but can't remember what it was or what video is there. So 27 is normal, 13 hertz between 7 hertz is mediumship, and below 7 to 5 is trance. Alpha, beta, theta, delta. Um, thanks for answering. No problem. Dawson, what is that? Debbie Dawson, that's what it is. Debbie Dawson. My brain weren't reading that. Daft Babe says, hi Charlie, it's Dana. Dana, how's your family? Yeah, all good. Dana's the big haired Dana, isn't it? Yeah. Hi Dana. Debbie, as I write my question, I realise how long my name was now sorted. Oh, you sorted it out. Oh, okay, cool. That's why I can now read it. Jen Falman, is it? Hi, Charlie. Question. I do much better readings when I can relax. Everyone will, because they'll sit here. They'll sit here much easier. But obviously, I can't force myself to relax. Yes, you can. The more I try, the more pressure I feel, which defeats the purpose. It's not actually, you're looking at it wrong. The more you try means that you're thinking more. So you are forcing it to be out of here. It's not about trying, it's about doing. So I'm going to go and get the man, and now I'm aware of the man. If I think about relaxing while I'm trying to get the man, I'm thinking about relaxing. So go back to the man. Now, whatever happens, your brain will be looking for any kind of mistake. So if I look out of my window, which is pitch black now, but the spring has sprung here in the UK, and I look out there and the trees are budding and the robins are on the bird feeder, the squirrels are winding up the robins and the rabbits are in the background. It's a beautiful scene out there, but I can't see any of that beauty because the weeds are doing my head in out there. And so now all my attention is captured on the weeds that I see out of there. Mediums' minds are exactly like that. You are looking or expecting or trying to find a mistake, and then you find it. And that is what stops you from being able to sit here and relaxing, because you look for the mistake, you found the mistake, and at no point in the history of mankind have you been looking for your phone, found it, and carried on looking for it. That is what you've trained your brain to do. So you need to forget about the chaos and just get back to the man or the woman, and the relaxation will follow because that's what's needed. So yeah, that will help. I promise you that will help. Message retracted, message retracted. Everyone being naughty. Mia, mentoring comes highly recommended. So then message retracted. Are people swearing, or is it being answered or something? Katie, practice read. Sitter took everything, almost. Smiled, enjoyed it. Told me after was grand and only knew her till 5 and took a lot of the info about her. Sitter, I wasn't psychic but kind of disappointed. Thoughts? It just means that you haven't touched upon certain aspects that you wanted to hear about the sitter. And probably 95% of those situations are talking about the here and now. So it's actually not evidential readings they wanted, it's a psychic reading or information about moving forward. So guidance, fortune telling, seership is probably what that was about. I don't know what that's just reset. I don't know what's happened there. I don't know what's happened there. That's just reset. Oh well. Where did I get to? Yeah. So they wanted psychic information. That's why they're disappointed. Darth Babe, do you feel any different while doing mediumship, such as trance-like sensation? Nah, I do feel different, but it's not trance-like. I just have to be disciplined. So I feel disciplined is probably the best way to put that. I have to make sure I don't get involved, embellish, try and work it out, try and judge it. I have to keep all of that at bay. So I feel like I'm suppressing myself. Um, how do you, Kat says, how do you do the shift from regular Charlie to becoming psychic Charlie? So we need the terminology fixed there. It'll be medium Charlie. I don't do psychic work. I don't like psychic work. So how do I shift from regular Charlie to medium Charlie? Is out here, and anyone that knows me in the chat on a personal level knows I'm a dick. I am a dick, and I will take any opportunity to wind you up or have a laugh. And I make mistakes and all that kind of stuff. When I go to work, when I cross that threshold, I'm not allowed to judge. I'm not allowed to fill it in or assume or embellish, try and make it sound better. That is how my mindset gets there. So I'm going to work. Now, most of you will understand the way that I saw this unfold was I used to be a foreman at a company. I was there for like 15 years, maybe a little bit more than that. But my boss was a dick, and he wanted everything done in a perfect way, but couldn't do it himself. Took all the credit for everybody else's work. So every day I wanted to go in and call this guy a dick, every single day. But I needed the job. So I crossed the gates, I crossed the threshold of work, and those thoughts that are going around in my head is like, call him a dick, call him a dick. I can't call him a dick. I need the job. So I discipline myself to not call him a dick. That is the same thing as crossing the threshold. Don't get involved. Don't judge. Don't assume. Don't need to understand. Don't fill in the blanks. Don't do any of those things. That is how I make that shift. Like I'm going to work. Yeah. Carol's put up there 2026 mentors are now closed, but you can sign up for the 2027 ones. Yep. Well, it makes sense. We're in 2026. Yeah. So that's why it's closed. So you say thanks, monkey chops. Can spirit actually cause synchronicities to their loved ones, or is it more spirit guides, or not at all? Not for me. Not for me. I don't think they create synchronicities. I think we see the pattern forming, or where our minds are blown by a pattern. But I don't think that's the spirit guides or the loved ones in the spirit world doing that. I think on a larger scale, a larger picture, I think that would be contracted, your soul contract, Akashic record, whatever terminology you need there. I think that would be the blueprint of your life, and that synchronicity was always going to happen at that time via the contract that your life is. But that's a little bit philosophical. And to give it any more, I would need another 2 hours conversation. So, soul contracts is what the synchronicities are, not the spirit world or the loved ones or the guides. It's what you did. Zena, thank you for all helping us understand. No problem. That's what it's the literal point of the Q&A. The positive medium. Any advice for public dems? I've never done one and don't have any on the cards, but feel drawn to try it, even a very small one. Advice for building up to it or just jump in? I don't think you'll ever be ready, so it'll be just jump in. And you won't agree with me, but you maybe in a decade's time you will. The larger the number, the easier the dem. So I wouldn't do small ones. I would do larger ones if you have that availability to do that, because it's just easier. Trust me, it's just easier. But yeah, I mean, you're going to make mistakes. You need charisma. You need discipline. You need all of these things, and you will only know what you need to work on by throwing yourself into that deep end. The only advice I would give is that I gave to Xander earlier on. Make sure you're moving on before that 10-minute mark, because it just gets boring, and you don't want them to be bored. Yeah. Can you teach and mentor anybody to connect to the other side? Absolutely. Now, it would be a lot harder to teach someone that goes, no, I'm not doing it. No, I don't believe it. No, it's not real. They can be taught. It's just they're not giving it an opportunity to flourish in any way, shape, or form. But people that are willing and are prepared to go for it and prepared to they will have a quicker result. But it's not a gift that we've got. It's a birthright. Everyone has it. Everyone has it available. It's whether they choose to look at it. Canterbury Aesthetics, thank you so much for taking the time to respond. No problem. Cozy Coops Institute of Spiritualist Mediums, ISM. Yeah, they do. That's absolutely right. Totally forgot about them. So the ISM do accreditation as well. Yep. And it will be dependent on what sort of scaling you want the accreditation to. They've obviously all got their own styles and their own standards that you've got to meet. So yeah, those listed there as well. Are you Christian? No, I'm not. I'm not anything. Yeah, I'm not anything. I just work for spirit. So that's my bind into my God, that other people would call a religion, but it's just spirit. UK 00784. When I connect to the spirit world, I get buzzing sound in my left ear. I have been connecting for nearly 3 years now, but don't seem to be getting anything apart from knowing they are here. But you're focusing on the buzz. So you're trying to connect, you connect, and then you focus on where's that buzz. And now you've got the buzz. Now you're not with the individual in this zone here. So all you're aware of is the buzz and the awareness that they're here, but you're not receiving information. But you can't receive information here. You have to be here. So that's where the problem is. You need to find the person that first step forward. Gangs of mother power. Sounds like a deadly gang, that one. How can you handle the pressure of giving a reading for a mother who wants to connect with her young child? I mean, I suppose it's experience. I've done it for many years. I'm also of the understanding that I'm just never going to take away all of the pain that poor mum has gone through. I'm never going to get rid of that, but I can ease it. And so the joy of the child stepping forward and showing mum that they're there is what motivates me to be able to get through things like that. So yeah, I mean, it's all pressurized, isn't it? It's just we're just giving the value higher to that of a child wanting to speak to their mum, rather than, any other kind of relationship. It's going to be just as difficult if the value is that of a lifelong partner. They're all difficult. It's just how you handle it. What happened there? That's jumped again, is it? Right, so you're going to need more questions if you want me to stick around. We're at 1 hour and 10, so but I think I'm nearing the end. I'm nearing the end. Lisa, so I don't have any medium friends or friends like this stuff. How do I get started putting myself out there? Well, I think do you mean like practicing or going out to work as a medium? If it's practice, I mean, there is a group that's within my group, but it's got nothing to do with me. You can reach out to Carol and she can link you up to that. And they do like practice Fridays or something like that. But I do stress it's got nothing to do with me. So whatever goes on in that group is not me. It's nothing to do with me. They've just been to one of my classes, so they know what's expected. So if you're looking for practice, reach out to Carol and she'll hook you up there.
You've been on a class though.
Yeah, I think this Lisa has though. And then if you're talking about professional going out there, getting out there, you have to start like everybody else, like with nothing. I had nothing. I just had to keep on keeping on. Now, I will tell you, it took me 10 years to get any kind of recognition. So it took a while, but I kept plugging away. So in a professional capacity, they will never know of you if you don't start somewhere. So you have to start somewhere for the ball to start rolling. So and you have to be that annoying person that plugs it absolutely everywhere. But demonstrations is the quickest and easiest way to get going. Yeah. Mia, thanks for the answer, no problem. Lighthouse says, you once said to me there are many good mediums and few greats. What is your opinion that differentiates the two? I think lots of like you can do a formatted reading. So I've got a man, he's in his 70s, he dies of heart attack, he's 5'10.5" and wore a size 7 shoe. It is that will fall under good. You know, they're good, they got the detail, they got this, that, and then they'll navigate into a personality, and then they'll navigate and transition into a message, and then the next link will be, I've got a lady, she's 72, she dies of breast cancer, her name is Elizabeth, and that is deemed good. That's a good medium. But there's very few that demonstrate service. And what I mean by that is doing the jobs that you don't want to do, and you know, getting the statements that you don't want to say. You're uncomfortable. It sounds offensive. It's difficult. The ticking the box of self gratification. You know, I am happy with this and I'm happy with that. There's not many mediums that are surrendering. They say they're surrendering, but they're not surrendering. And when you watch a medium surrender and they are saying the things that the client actually wants to hear, those are in their head the gold of gold nuggets in read after read after read. And it's not formatted. They're not doing it for themselves. They're doing it for the service of the voice of or giving to of the client. Will then fall into great. So the stats will start mounting up. They are always successful. They are always surrendered. They are always doing. But a good medium could be a formatted medium, very one-dimensional, but they get through every link, but it's kind of meh. It's still deemed good, isn't it? So there's very few great individuals out there. There's very few that stay in their lane and not master it. I just don't think you can master it, but they are maximizing everything they are getting out of it. Would then qualify them to go above good, so into that great category. So yeah, it's Savannah, by the way. Yeah, that's cool. So yeah, I think there's very few demonstrating that out there. So it'll fall in, you know, you look at any kind of history throughout spiritualism, and I've stalled there. Is that still live or not? It says it's stopped. Is it still playing over there?
I think I can still hear.
Did ya?
Side by side.
Yeah, it just seems to have stopped here though. So I'll quickly check the stream health. It says it's healthy. So anyway, so I don't know what's going on that other monitor. This is what panics me. You look at everything that's got like pioneers, and that it will be for their time. They went beyond what was normal for their time. I think that puts them into the great category. I don't know if I can reload this.
Yes, and you're still.
Yeah, it's good. Yeah, it's just I just keep my eyes off that monitor then. Um, Yellow Chocolate says, my previous question was poorly stated. Can you even receive spirit communication if you don't have explicit permission from a person, or would mediums not even receive info whatsoever? I think you would still receive. I think, like, I've got no reason. If I've got a client that is in the room and they want to hear from mum, then I'm going to receive that from there. But they have entered the room. But that was how you expressed your first question, wasn't it? Now, if I'm trying to work with this person's mum and they're not in the room, there would be no point in me working with their mum, so I wouldn't receive the information. So, but I think me and you are just confusing each other. Yellow Chocolate. So, I still think you need permission wherever it is to receive the information. Otherwise, there is no point. Danielle says, hello, happy Tuesday. Thanks for helping. No worries. Natural bar. Thank you. No worries. Is it normal to get really hot when doing reading, says Daniel? Absolutely. Some people go really cold, some people go really hot. It's just a judgment, ain't it? You know that all eyes are on you, and then your natural body reaction to that. That would also be the old school terminology of raising your vibration. I don't think you are raising your vibration. I think the spirit world would be raising your vibration. If it was being raised, and that would be the heat that you are feeling in the speeding up of atoms. So yeah, it's yeah, it's normal. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and share. Got to keep doing that. I know it's annoying, but I hate the self promotion. But you got to do it for the algorithm. Tina Maria says, how can I strengthen my clear senses? It's like the gym, Tina. Work them out. Just give them a workout, run them out, and you'll stop judging yourself so harshly. You'll start actually enjoying your clairs again, and to you, the appearance of strengthening would have taken place. So it actually falls down to mindset. If you think about weakness, you'll find weakness. There's the weakness, and energy drops. If you find weakness but you know how to get round it, you get round it. You don't think about the weakness, you think about how you got round it, and mindset strong, so it'll appear better. Jen Falman says, thank you very much for answering. No problem. Darth Babe, how does mediumship work? Are they taking over our consciousness? Taking over is the wrong terminology because it's permission granted. They're allowed to use my mind because I allow them to. But it's a lot simpler than that. Let me mute this off because this is really loud, this paper. So what it is this is, who asked that? I can't remember who it was. Who asked that? How does mediumship work? Darth Babe. So you'll see yourself as this when actually you're this. So you're an auric, you're an electromagnetic field, and then the density of that bubble is what we see. We see the human form of the density of that bubble there. So electromagnetic density, and we get to see Daft Babe, and what I see is probably unique to me, and what other people see is unique to them. From there, now, allowing them to access the conscious state would kind of be like that. So it's the electrical the electrical storm that takes place within this bubble is now influenced by the spirit world on the outside, the layer of consciousness here. So now they impress what my mind needs to translate. And so I'm giving them access to neuro pathways to electrical chaos. And that electrical chaos in some mediums will give them an image, some will give them a knowing, some will give them a feeling. And it's allowing that to impress, and that's where the permission is. I'm granting permission for you to access the electrical storm that takes place in my mind, and then I say it. And then this client says yes, and then I get it again, and yes. Now, for me, that's really simple to understand. I understand if that's gone a little bit over your head, but that's all it is. You're granting access to the electrical storm that takes place in your mind. Now, if you Google neuroscience or neurology, it will talk about the electrodes that are firing off in your brain that give you the ideas and store memories and that. And that video will completely explain the permission that I'm allowing them to be in charge of the electrical chaos. So yeah, that's all it is. It's as simple as that. Psychic Dashton, the Vampire Slayer. You lot and your names. God. I do birth chart roasting reviews. I'm not sure that's the right word. You do birth chart reviews and psychic vision, medium evidence readings also for free. You keep the practice alive. Yeah, cool. I mean, loads of people are going to be into this birth chart stuff. Loads of people are going to be into the psychic and the psychic visions, the mediumship, the medium evidence. But yeah, I mean, why not? Tina Marie says, I'm trying to decide between UK residence course or the mentorship help. I mean, it's entirely up to you. Either one, there's no hiding. You can't hide. So you will face your issues on either one. But if you want the collective group and the fun that goes kind of like with things like that, then the residential's the one. If you like sitting at home in your pajamas, drinking coffee, or laying down on the sofa or whatever, then the mentoring's going to be the one, because I'm not going to have any of that in the classroom. So whatever you're most comfortable with, I suppose. Sick Chick says, how do you receive message generally? Always curious how it is for more experienced mediums. I hear thoughts in my own voice, but no, they aren't mine, and see images. Spirit usually uses a silhouette. Yeah, I think a lot of people will understand how and what you're talking about there. For me now, it's an idea. I run with an idea. And so I just get an idea of a man, and I get an idea of the music that he enjoyed playing. And now I've got an idea of the instruments that he owned and what he did with those instruments and where he went with those instruments. And the idea is just forming and growing and growing. But for pictures and big sensory motions within my mediumship takes a lot of fuel. And so I'm trying to work more and more efficiently as the years go on. Yeah. I don't know if I can reload this screen, you know. It's completely crashed. Does it tell you how long I've been on for?
83 minutes.
Yeah, so 120, yeah. Where did we get to now? There. Tina Marie says, I've just lost a friend to the spirit world, but I believe she contacted me today via a song. Then she contacted you today by a song? We practice readings a lot together. Could she now be a guide of mine? I'm not comfortable with that. I mean, by all means, she'd want to view it, wouldn't she? She's a friend of yours and she wants to be part of it. But the guides have been the guides from your first breath, you know. So I can see her being an onlooker as part of the guide dynamic, but not an actual guide. I'm not comfortable with that. But it also makes it look like she'd want to keep an eye on you and see what's happening and what you're up to. And so if you see a guide in that manner, then by all means. I just don't like the terminology. My guides, my team are my team and have always been my team. my friends look on. They watch what's happened. So Kirsty says Xander also wants to say thank you for all you both do for all students. So, he is having computer issues. Okay, thanks Kirsty, thanks Xander. Bree, go to the UK residential. It was life-changing experience for me. I couldn't recommend it more. Thank you, Bree. UK 00784, thanks, no problem. Medium says, when a medium gives a piece of evidence and it's accurate, but then goes on to add to it, changing the evidence so it no longer resonates, what is going on? What is the medium doing? The medium thinks they're making it sound better. By adding an example. So long story short, or long development short, is you will eventually learn that when you give an example, your example is through your own life story or through your culture, your upbringing, your religious lean-tos. And it's the example that won't work between two people that you don't know, client and communicator. So if you say something like, he is fast paced, like, and then you say he drives his car really, really fast, the client will probably say he didn't drive. And they're not hearing that he was fast paced. They're now listening to the example that you gave them, which is now wrong. And that is why they'll say no. But the mediums love the sound of their own voice. They love it. They don't shut up, and they think by saying more means more detail, more evidence, more better mediumship. And it's not the case. They are, proactively destroying it. So Hazel says, is there a reading you have done that you consider the most memorable or changed your life in a dramatic way? God. Let's change my life in a dramatic way. I don't know. I mean, I don't know. I think there's readings that have made me realise just how limiting I thought it was, and they've demonstrated their intelligence in ridiculous ways that I just gave up trying to work it out. I just trust in the limitless aspects of it. And I remember one where I was working on foreign soil, and a young lady wanted to know where her husband, or how her husband had died exactly. Yeah, I think that was it. I can't remember. It was many years ago now. And she booked the reading to get this information, which I didn't know at the time. So I've took the sit-in. It was a young lady, a young husband had died, and I remember going to go to the spirit world to get her husband to do the communication, and my guide was stood there, which my guide is never stood there, but my guide was stood there and was like, and she was saying he's not here. And so I said to the client, he's not in the spirit world, your husband's not dead. And she showed me footage and photography and that of a scene where her husband was believed to have been murdered. And he wasn't. It was staged. Everything was staged. So long story short, I don't want to share all the details because it's someone's reading, isn't it? But long story short, I gave her the name of his real name, not the name that he told her. And then they Googled this real name, to which she found that he was alive and well somewhere else in the world. And that's when I realised there is no way I can control anything that takes place in and around a reading. I've simply got to listen. I've simply got to trust out of the spirit world. And I think that's one of the biggest turning points I would have had in mediumship. Now, I do need to emphasize that's one of probably 20 episodes like that. where it has just blown my mind that the spirit world actually know what they're talking about. And when I finally gave up elements of control and I actually listened, it will blow everyone's mind. So, but we're we're too in control, aren't we? So yeah, but that's the off the top of my head. That's the first one I could think of, Hazel. But I could spend probably hours just talking about that stuff as well. So um, yeah, yeah. Anyway, the positive medium. I've done several reads that turned out to be suicides and a few others that weren't, but that can obviously be very sad for the sitter. I always hope I'm doing the best for the sitter and spirit. But would you recommend mediums do the same kind of bereavement training? I think it's just wanting to be as kind and careful as I can around people who are grieving. I don't think you want to do like a, how did you word it? A kind of bereavement training and work with mediumship. I'm not a counsellor. I am someone that is producing evidence for someone that was here that you know about. That's my job. That's mediumship, isn't it? Evidential mediumship, anyway. Now, if I listen to the communicator, they'll give me in the tone that I need to give it in, and to the accuracy that I need to give it in, to the detail that I need to give it in. But I'm not a medium that's like, tell me how you, and I want this, and you better do that. I'm not that kind of medium. I'm like, what am I saying? And then I say it. That it's never got me in trouble with the sitter. So if it's extremely blunt, then that's how the sitter wanted it. It was extremely blunt. If it's really softly tiptoe around the situation, that's because that's how the client needed it. But I'm not a counsellor. I am an evidential medium, so I wouldn't recommend doing both. I think that the philosophies would collide too much in what and how you're doing it. So I'm at the end there. Is there any more questions after that one? Oh,
Yeah.
is there? Mine's completely crashed then. Is there more after that? Yeah. The positive medium. So it was Hazel, the positive medium, the positive medium.
Yeah.
What, there's more? Right, hold on. Let me try and. I may crash the stream here. If I do, I will be straight back on. But I may crash it. So let me just quickly reload this. How do I reload that? I'll try it here. I may crash out. My apologies. So let me mute off and let's hope I don't crash the string. I don't even know if I'm still live though. Someone put in the bottom if this is still live. You are live, yeah. So yeah, okay. So I got up to the positive medium. Cool, thanks, says Lisa. Gang of mothers. Sometimes I have messages attached to evidence at the middle of the reading. What do you think about deliberate or wrong idea? I think in a one-to-one you'll be all right to do that, but you don't want to get into the habit of doing that. So in a demonstration style, I'd move it to the end of the link, but in a one-to-one, I mean, depending on what the situation is, I don't think you've got a problem delivering a little bit here and then do a little bit more and then move down the line a little bit like that. But I wouldn't get comfortable doing that all of the time. So yeah, I'd be sparing with that. Sorry for the delay. My question: how do I get out of my headspace of feeling like I'm giving very similar evidence? I mean, there's going to be a lot of people that we feel like, oh, I feel like I've said something like this before. So the way I'd get out of my headspace is I need more to that. So what am I adding to that? And that will fulfill you in the moment. That will fulfill you in feeling like I'm not same. And as time goes on, you will naturally go for more and add an additional layer every single time that they won't sound the same or similar in the near future. So, Mia, how do you answer a client who has lost one to suicide and unforeseen accident, and that wants to know why their person left them on the backbone of the talk of soul contracts? I wouldn't offer it as a soul contract. I would answer it in the way that the communicator's giving me it. So it may be blunt, it may be direct, it may be softly, but I won't soften it if it's blunt. So I'll give it exactly as I received it. I don't know the lady that I'll be working with, and I don't know the client. I don't know how they're going to handle any kind of receiving from the spirit world. So I can't possibly judge it or give it value. So I'd give it exactly as I got it. But that's everything in mediumship. Christine says, also, how do you deal with a client who expresses that they specifically wanted to hear certain details and events and conversations from their loved ones during the read? Well, hopefully we get those things. But if not, I would ask myself the question, was I narrating? Did I want to hear that? Did I want to do that? And equally, is it achievable? Is that going to be somewhere within my comfort zone, or is that so far removed from my comfort zone that it was probably unrealistic at this point to be able to get those things? So there'd be a number of questions I need to ask myself there. You've also explained that it isn't about what they want to hear, but what they won't accept that. No, of course they won't accept that. I was running a class. You may or may not have been in that class. And Carol went to make a canister of coffee. It was going to be another few hours. And I said, can you do coffee? So she's gone. She's made coffee, and someone said, what do you think Carol would want to hear from you? And I was like, well, she's here. We can ask her, can't I think she'll say that, and that. And then Carol come in, she dropped the coffee on the side, and I was like, they just asked, and we've all had a giggle about it, and I've wrote these 3 things down that I think that you would expect me to say. And not one of them matched up. Not one. And we're both alive. Not one of them matched up. So I think sometimes the client expects them to talk about something, and it's not the case, because I thought Carol would say that about me, and she didn't. So it's not always as simple as that. So you've got a number of things there. You could explain it in that fashion. It's not what they want, but what they need could be another fashion. I just think too many mediums would use that as an excuse. And was any part of me narrating that, and was it even viable within my comfort zones or awareness to be able to receive the thing that they want me to get? So a number of things that I would have to do there. Olivia, what is your opinion about Jane Roberts' books, Book of Seth, Real Trance or Not? I don't know it. I don't know that book, Olivia, so
Someone answered it, don't they?
no opinion on my part. Danielle, do you need to protect yourself? Nope. If so, how do you do it? No, you don't need to. So it says, do I need to protect myself against negative spirits? There is no negative spirit. Spirit in its purity. Their human may have had a negative attribute to it. You know, they done bad things or whatever, but their spirit is not their human. So I don't need to protect myself against the spirit, because there is no negative spirit. There is negative evidence of the human that the spirit was, but no protection is required, no. The Vampire Slayer, the person who is getting practiced on is not supposed to say anything, but yes, no. Tell them it's cheating when they want to rant about their life and not supposed to. It triggers imagination. Not. Yeah, equally, I completely agree. Yes, no, or don't know. But some people get so excited by the statement that you've just given that they just want to share it. And I think if you silence them in that moment, they will be triggered, as you've experienced, obviously. You would just have to move direction. So we're going to have to come away from that now because you've gave me a load of information. Let's move direction, and then we'll move direction. Would it ignite imagination? I think it would, but I also think that you would still need validation on the addition that you're going to add to, because you feel your imagination's kicked in, and at some point that's going to be no, and it will be pure imagination rather than communication. So I think either way will work. I think you ideally want to trigger your clients the least amount as possible, though. um, Rom says, what consistent practices do you recommend when you are by yourself to connect with your guides to assist with development, psychic or mediumship? Um, I always suggest the corridor that was given to me. So, as a very quick explanation, whatever you feel that you want to learn will be in a room, in a very typical corridor. So the door will be shut. You'll enter the room and you'll have your experience. When you first do this, it will be what you want to practice on and what you want to do. Then go to that room and you'll practice it. When you are at the point of being bored or you feel like you've covered it all, then hand it over to the spirit world and say, teach me on the other side of this door, and then enter the room and have your experience. And that is how you will teach yourself at home on your own. Hanny says, hi Carol, I've shared and liked. Thank you, Hanny. Danielle, commercials keep interrupting your live unless it's just my end. That does my head in, and there's nothing I can do about that now because the studio has collapsed. I've had to switch it off, which I'm really surprised that we're still streaming. So I will look into it, but they are forcing the issue more and more with that. So my apologies for the ads, but there's nothing I can do when they keep switching the thing off. So I'll look into it. Oh God, Vampire Slayer. I only go by what I see through others with their confirmation, and if they have more evidence to show me the visions of like the people I already explained looked like around them, that's more proof. You can do. I mean, you can look in through the eyes. I mean, if someone's coming to you for a reading from someone, they won't want you going all around the family tree and friends, etc. But it can offer more evidence. You are right in what you're saying. It can offer more evidence. I'm just not sure it's the evidence that the client would want. You do all the readings for free because it's the only way to connect with the spirit realm, and I want to repeat it. Well, it's a choice to do it for free. So my own development in the first 2 years was nearly £40,000. And so doing it for free was not an option because I couldn't afford that through my development. And then, equipment. The equipment that you're currently watching this on is nearly £20,000 worth of equipment. So free isn't an option unless Canon want to send me free cameras and Rode want to send me free mics, and the light company want to send me desks and lights and cameras, and so it's not an option. So to get a live, this very room is £20,000 worth of equipment, so it's not an option for me. Maybe if I had Elon Musk's money, then I'd be able to do everything for free, but it's even then the list would be endless and I would never get to the bottom of the list, would I? So I value my time and my journey, and it's an exchange. Is the money there? Like the thumbs up, says Matthew. If mediums don't get through to a sitter what the spirit was really trying to communicate, what do you think the spirit? I don't think they get frustrated. I think they'll be pleased you tried. But I don't think you're giving it human emotion, and it's not human. So, and mediums have a real hard struggle with viewing the spirit world as spirit rather than they think it's all still humans, but they don't carry those emotions around with them. So I think it's more of gratitude that you tried. Better luck next time. But I think they'll always strive for that additional, and eventually, hopefully, they find one that gets it across, doesn't it? So, but it's not. You're looking at the spirit world as human, and that's going to be very restrictive in development. Neil says, regard Jane Seth books, I believe she was in contact with a future version of herself. Seth said that in some of the books, but he was also on his own separate entity. So I haven't even heard of it. Um, Sometimes spirits talk a lot or want to, but if your focus isn't on them and on something else, then you miss out. So do they. Yeah, your attention has to be there. That'd be no different to me going for a cup of coffee with the vampire slayer and me paying no attention to the vampire slayer. You're not gonna be heard in what it is that you're saying. My attention needs to be on you while we're having our coffee for it to be received and heard, wouldn't you? So that's normal. Kat says you're allowing them to enter your energy storm is also called intention. No. Attention, I can agree with, but intention, no. So if your attention is on the storm, then yes, it will enter. But your intention of allowing them into the storm, but you don't really feel it, you don't really believe it, then your intention will be cancelled out by the fear of failing. Your intention is irrelevant. Jody says, thanks for the electrical chaos, no problem. Linda says, hi. When doing platform mediumship, says KTF4HS. I go indirect. Yeah, that's cool. How do I figure out who the message is for? You can ask the communicator. I'm indirect myself. I want it that way. If not, I go to all the ladies with big boobs and nice smiles and, that are very, very pretty. So I don't want to go direct because I'm going to pick all those people that I like. So I go indirect. And if I need to find my person because their hand's not up, I ask. And they'll give me an awareness, whatever that awareness is. And with a little bit of practice, you'll start to feel where that is every single time. And you'll just get more and more accurate at it. So give it a whirl. Wanda, thank you for the live. It's great. As always, Charlie Carroll, you're the best. Cool. Neil, how do we maintain the spirit contact? Sometimes it flows and other times it's like a wet weekend in Wigan. Where's my pen? That is because the ones that are amazing are because they're the kind of people that you'd have got on in real life. You blend, you just get on. And the ones that are like a wet weekend in Wigan is because that would be the same reaction that you'd have to someone that's a little bit difficult, a little bit awkward, someone not of your taste. In reality, so you're dealing with them on a subconscious level. So when I'm making the connection to the spirit world for communication and I recognize, oh, I don't like these kind of people, then that's your wet weekend in Wigan. So when I connect to the spirit world for a communicator and, oh my God, I'm gonna fucking love you, and it just goes wonderfully well. So it's my subconscious reaction to the way that I deal with people in my earthly life. So what an analogy that is. Wet weekend in Wigan. Oh God. Where are we at? God, it's just jumps. Oh, you're saying hi to Cal. Hi, Cal. Yellow chocolate. Okay, so you're in an elevator with strangers. Can a medium pick up a spirit communication for any of those people? Yes. Or will the spirit communicator not even try because you didn't get permission? No, you can access those people in there. Yes, you can. In the elevator. That is the point of connection. Because they're in there and you look at the spirit world, you will connect to the people that are connected to the people in that elevator. That was much easier put, yellow chocolate. About soul contract, don't you think we have free will? Yes, and that would be before you wrote out the contract in effect. So your free will is exercised before you arrive. it's within the design of the contract. About guides, I know you have a very analytical brain. When did you realise we all have one? I'm not sure I've realised we all had one, but the philosophy that kind of sits well with me is all interconnected means that we must have one. What was the turning point for you in the guide or soul contract? What turning point are you talking about? There's so many turning points for me. Gang of mothers, mother power. I like that name. Why do I struggle to get names? Everyone struggles to get names because you wholeheartedly believe it's difficult and it's the best bit of mediumship that you could possibly do. Lose the need to fulfill you. You want to know, you need their name, and the names will become freer. So that's why you struggle with them. That you're putting too much emphasis on it. Um, no sound, they're saying. Is it all back or? Alright, you're good. Now you're back live. We can see you. Sounds back. Yeah, it's just weird. I don't know what happened to it. But it still crashed on the other screen. Um, wish you two a happy Easter. No worries. Thank you. So yeah, let's round this up because I'm going into pure anxiety as you always do. So, oh, Wanda, for God's sake, thank you for the super chat. Just thank you for the time that you took to do this. For anyone that's not taken a class with Charlie, they're great, informative, fun, and many times quite funny. If in doubt, don't hesitate. Thank you, Wanda, and thank you for the super chat. So there's a few that. So I'm beginning to round down now, beginning to close it down. So if there's absolutely anything that's going to keep you awake at night and you haven't asked me it, ask it now so we can ease your mind and ease that connection to the spirit world. And then we'll wrap it up and I'll disappear and Carol will post when the next one is, no doubt, in the coming days. Tina Marie, I do connect up well with one of my guides. I will receive bizarre sayings and think, well, I've made that up. But then I Google it and find it actually always factual in an amazing way that relates to me. Then that's perfect. Have I got her into a habit of her making me Google everything? Yeah, I'm not sure I want to Google everything. I kind of want the relationship to be normal. Not like I know it's wonderful having these bizarre moments and you Google it and it's, oh my God, this is unbelievable. But there's only so many times that can take place. I've been doing this like 18 years. So there's only so many times that you have those moments, isn't there? And I'd rather just have a chat. So I'd make it as simple as possible. My advice would be make it as simple as possible. What is the best way to ask for forgiveness to a departed loved one when there was estrangement? Thanks. The peace will come with you. I can't spell it. I can't. What's the Maui? Maui? Yeah, the forgiveness won't be on the spirit's part now. They will have all the ingredients that was part of that estrangement, so they don't hold the human emotions that you're suggesting there. So the forgiveness will be forgiving yourself and they will be on board with it anyway. So you are already forgiven. It's just when you accept it. Kat says, what's the difference between attention and intention then? Attention is like intention is I need to get up tomorrow morning. I've got to get up at 8 a.m. but I've got a snooze button on my alarm. And so my intention is to get up at 8 a.m., but my attention is on, no, I'm fucking not. And I hit the snooze button, then attention will override intention every single time. So it's where your attention is in mediumship, not where your intention is set, because it can be broken so easy. It's what you will actually do, where your actual attention is. No, I never set intention, no. But I mean, it's such a wonderful dangling carrot, isn't it? Give a student this intention carrot, and I can reel you along for ages if we just keep setting the intent. But if I put the attention on the fear of failing and we fix the fear of failing up, then your intention was never given and you got better. So the results speak for itself. There is no intention in mediumship that actually works. Thanks, says Suzanne. No problem. The guides. What was that? Um, Yeah, I don't know what that is, the guide. So, then Wanda, then Lisa, do we agree? So I think you're the creator of the contract, not in agreement with it. You are the creator. That's right. You're not human at that point. How does spirit energy agree stuff like this? I sound thick. You don't sound thick, but you're trying to move away from the human, then give it human form again. So as spirit, you are creating that contract or that blueprint that you're about to walk. Your free will is exercised in that contract. Then you come here as a human and walk that contract. That's how it works. Thank you so much, Charlie and Carol. No problem. Unstable cupcake. If you don't mind answering, what are you working on in your own development right now? Mine would be layering and always getting deeper and deeper into the conversation. Um, I always want to be able to start with the first sort of 3, 4, 5 statements where the client absolutely knows that they've got their person there. Transition, smoothness, efficiency, all of those things that I'm still practicing very regular on a stage, just to try and get that 1 degree better as time moves on. And I honestly don't think Unstable Cupcake that I will ever master mediumship. But I also know that it has got my attention because I've been doing it 18 years. So, and I've enjoyed it, and I'm still developing. I will constantly develop, and will still always develop. And along the pathway of my development, I learn more efficient ways, less problematic ways, less ways that put me in my head. And then I take that to a class and go, hey, students, look what I found. And then I give it to the students, and then everyone grows. So, yeah, you're never going to master it, but you should always be looking at something in your development. Well, if not, you believe you've mastered it, right? I don't know. I don't know. Just me today and every day. You learn so much. Good. That's the point of these. So even if you got one thing from it, it was worth the 2 hours, wasn't it? So thank you, thank you. At what point is the science today about mediumship? Can't wait for the skeptic saying you were right. Science will never back mediumship, and because they need a duplication twice. So if let's say this is the point of triangle, this is the communicator, this is me, this is you, and I bring forward your mum. Science wants me to do that again 30 minutes later, exactly the same. And I can't do it because your mum will have different things to say. Now, if I say exactly the same things, you'll say I made it up. And if I say different things, the science will say, but the charts are different. They're showing 2 different things. So science, the way science is conducted right now, will never back mediumship. I started typing something that actually was keeping me awake the other night, but it's too much to type in one go for this chat. Your Rubik's Cube theory, being the soul, and our soul groups. Yeah. So I understand what you mean, and it's a little bit hard to grasp. But if you use it like this, I like using these little facets. You can see that. And that one facet just there is Charlie doing the current contract that Charlie created. This is when I was, you know, Beth, and this one was when I was Claire, and this one was when I was Dave. So, and that's my spirit. The overall is my spirit. So I'm just sharpening the spirit. So it's very hard to digest that information when the ego is in play. The ego loves my own identity, the Charlie identity. It loves it and it doesn't want to let it go, and it won't let any other idea come in because that's the job of the ego. Once you understand that your ego is just that, it's the ego, then you will operate differently, you think differently. It's more about helping, giving away, all that kind of stuff. So Danielle, do you think practicing on deceased celebrities? No, I don't. Anything about the way that you've done can research them to verify information you received? Absolutely not. No, just grab someone that's prepared to work. There's loads of free classes out there. I don't think that's the way forward. Quickly, but does that mean saying, for example, our family here is in this lifetime, won't be part of our soul's life during the different lives? I don't know is the answer. I don't know that. It makes sense to me that they're part of this family because they're very close to you on that side. That does make sense to me. But do they, do the mums still become mums again and the dads become dads again? I just simply don't know the answer. But I mean, throw it away. If it makes you uncomfortable, throw it away. If you don't want to go to them levels of philosophy or understanding of mediumship, then just throw it away. Just that child is an idiot. I'm cool with that. I know you drink caffeine. Does it affect mediumship? No, not in the slightest. Love the crystal example. No problem. I'm off now, thank you. And I'm off now, Tina, as well. So let's round this up. Please like the bloody video. It's not hard. Click like. Subscribe if you aren't already. Share if you don't mind sharing it across your groups. You're all part of all of these groups, and I mean, there's I get shared loads of shitty videos. This is something that's giving back, Q&A. I'm trying to answer. I'm trying to give you some form of tuition, some sort of idea to cling on to get better. It's free. Just share, just like, subscribe. And I will catch you all in the next one that'll be posted, I don't know, in the next few days, no doubt. Knowing Carol, she's always on things like that. So I'm going to flick up the end screen. I'll leave the end screen there like I leave the starting screen. It'll be there for 5 minutes. And then once that 5 minutes is up, I will end stream. So you can carry on talking in the chat for the next 4.5, 5 minutes. And then I'll end it. Thank you, everyone, for joining me. And I will see you on Zoom or in person in Birmingham or on stage across my demonstrations across the UK and Europe. Until next time, look after yourself. Peace.